Today we're going to have the CGTN roundtable, a rise in Wuzhen. As Wuzhen celebrates its 10th year anniversary, and today we're going to talk about international cultural exchanges from Wuzhen Theater Festival. And we're really happy to have two guests joining us today. And one is Jopa Moraes and from Brás Cubas. And please give us a brief introduction of yourself. And also Lu Zhan. Her show has been played in Emerging Theater Artist Competition, 18 out of 150 plays. And please give us an introduction of your guys later. Jopa first. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Jopa Moraes. I am an actor from Brazil. I live in Rio de Janeiro. I'm living in Rio de Janeiro, and I am part of Wuzhen Theater Company, a Brazilian company that exists for 36 years in Brazil. And this is our second time here at Wuzhen Festival. We're doing a show called Brás Cubas. It's a very short introduction.
And the show's gonna be on stage tonight.
Yes. Tonight will be the first day of the show, and we have 2 more days, and then it's over.
How's the preparation going so far?
It's going very good. This is the first time we do the show outside Brazil. It's actually the second time we do the show. The show premiered in Brazil in August, and we did a 6-week run, and now we're doing it for the second time here. So it's been a very good. The setup in the theater has been very good, and we're all very excited to see the Chinese reactions to the show, humor and drama.
And also Lu Zhan, is this your first time in Wuzhen or competing for the Emerging Theater Artist Competition?
Yeah. I come here before as audience or visitors, but it's first time here for this competition.
And you also served as a director here.
Yeah, I'm the director and the playwright of this show.
And can you give us a more introduction of the show? It's called On Her Own. It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. It's like why it's called like is it like a female story?
Yep.
Story.
The name in English is On Her Own, but in Chinese, it's about the clam and the pearl in English. So it's a story about mother and the daughter relationship. I want to say it's mother. Maybe she will be a mother, a daughter, maybe a wife. But I think the most of she had to be herself. So this is I want to say.
I think it's kind of interesting. Like Wuzhen Theater Festival has 5 main sections, 5 main components. One is special invited plays, and the other is Emerging Theater Artist Competition. So we can discuss a little bit again about different. I want to ask Jopa first. You said this show has performed in Rio in August, and it's gonna perform in China, and you have performed your plays all over the world. Will different plays give you guys different feelings, or does Wuzhen bring you any inspirations or ideas?
I think that's one of the charms of theater, right? As a live event, it always changes on the conditions, the environment, and the audience. We had a very nice experience here at the festival in 2017 when we came with a show called Water Stain. It's a show that Wuzhen does since 2012. A very poetic show, a very imagetic show, very visual and poetic show. And strangely enough and nicely enough, there's a part of the humor of the comic of the show have its best reception here in China. The audience of China connected a lot with the humor of the show, and we also presented this show. How do you say that? Ao ar livre, outside.
Outside the country?
No. When the theater is not a venue.
Outdoor?
Yes. We also performed the show outdoor in 2017, like we are doing this year with Brás Cubas. And somehow the outdoor environment, the Chinese audience, the poetic language of the show find its best version here. So I think it's always changing, and there's always something that we, as the artists on the show, can discover each new performance.
I also want to ask Lu Zhan, and I know you have just graduated from Taipei University and studying dramas. And before you studied journalism and theater in China University of Communication.
Digital media arts.
Digital media arts. So, and you also served as Stan Lai's directing assistant. So you have many roles. Will that help you as like a director?
I think I learned journalism in Taipei, so I think I got more base knowledge. It helped a lot for as a playwright and a director.
And also, Jopa, you are also one of the main actors, and you also do some posters for the companies. You have many roles. That I know, directing needs a lot of knowledge, and also actor. Will that different roles help you on your theater career?
I think what answers this question is that I work with a company, and in this company, me and also a lot of the other artists involved in the company have many different roles, and we are working together for a long time. So I think what differs a theatre company from other theatre productions is that they are not exactly just an end in itself. They're always part of a bigger and longer journey of this artist trying to create a language and discover possibilities together. So this thing of doing very different things came very naturally when you work in this kind of environment, because you're not just there doing your job, but kind of trying to build, trying to discover a way in which people could be together and be creative. So to me it's very, very natural to do more things, because that's how the way a company works.
And when we in China, most of the plays we saw in Chinese, domestic ones, and we're really happy to see the return of international plays. We haven't seen it for 3 years because of the COVID, and we actually were not really familiar with Brazil theater industry, but we're really interested. So could you give us more details on how's the theater development in Brazil?
Theater development.
There's a lot of people, young people, have many opportunities in pursuing their career in Brazil. And then we can invite Lu to talk about
Okay.
Brazil is a very rich culture and produces, I guess, and I don't say that just trying to impress. I think we produce one of the best theaters in the world. But also, Brazil as theatre as an institution in Brazil is not something strong. We don't have a lot of financial aid. We don't have a lot of continuing possibilities of work. So in some way, it's kind of this struggle and this specific conditions we have there that creates the type of theatre that we like to do and the themes we like to discuss.
And based on your own experience, you studied theater back in college, and then it's easy for you to find a job in Brazil.
No, I never studied formally theater in the college. I always started working with the company. So for me, and I'm not saying for everyone, but I think that there are other people with this kind of experience, it's always a very practical way of discovering what to do, right? Most of what I know about theatre, most of what I know about life itself, I have discovered on stage during performance and experimenting in a practical way.
That's pretty cool. And I also want to ask Lu Zhan. When I interviewed Wang Siwen, and he's one of the co-founders, and I said, what's the biggest challenge for the youngsters who want to pursue the theater industry? And he said, you guys have too many resources. It's too messy for you guys. And it's hard for youngsters to focus on one thing and do it for such a long time. And how do you see his comments?
I'm not really agree with him. Because, of course, Wuzhen is a very large platform for our youngsters, and it gives us the West Warehouse Theater and the technical team. But besides this, maybe we do have some theater festival, but I think more resources are going to some big company, and for our youngsters, we still have to do something by ourselves. I think we need some Fringe Festival, because when I was in Taipei, we also have Taipei Fringe Festival. I think this kind of large festival for youngsters will be more better than what Meng's. Maybe Director Meng, he means that in this time we have some maybe money or platforms, but I think that this is just from his side, and in my side, I still think we have more and more.
Is it, Jopa was curious before, is it easy or possible for young directors to make a living?
Of course not.
So it's the same as Brazil.
It's like same in Brazil. Many of my friends, they do some theater work. They use this as their part-time job, and they still have their own job to earn their lives.
Yeah, I think it's something that that happens in Brazil as well. Make a living as an artist in general, but as a theater artist in Brazil is very, very hard, and a lot of good people doesn't make it. A lot of people, very talented people, have to change their careers, have to decide something else to do, and that's a shame. I think that the better way would be for each country to have a culture that has the possibility for people to do their work, right, and to have the means to create these stories and shows and make it living, right?
Most of the time, I really want to do the thing I really want to do is maybe director, but it's too difficult for me to make a living if I'm the director. So for me, most of the time I will I will be the performer. I don't know what's the situation in Brazil, but in China here, be an actress is more easier to be a director to earn my living.
Yeah, I think there are more opportunities for actors than for directors, but I think it's very difficult for both, actually.
Are you thinking about directing after being an actor?
I already am a director as well. Yeah. Not from this show and not from the shows of the company, but in Brazil I direct and write some shows of my own. Yes. So I'm.
And Lu Zhan, this is your first time directing and compete for the Emerging Theater Artist competition. And when you saw other youngsters work, what's your feelings? What did their works like?
When I come to Wuzhen and when we live together, and I feel I involved in a rat race. I don't know why. I see all other teams, they maybe rehearsal in everywhere in Wuzhen. So
they work really hard.
Yeah. But I also know that last year they just enjoyed this competition. I don't know why this year come.
So the competition is pretty fierce this year.
Yeah, maybe it's 10 years. So I think it's difficult, and because I watch other teams' show, it's really good.
Really good works.
Says that with such so much fear in her eyes.
Yeah, I'm really nervous about the competition, but I think maybe I should enjoy more the competition rather than be nervous.
So you have.
But you want to win. That's okay.
This afternoon we will have the third show.
The third round of show. That's pretty good. And I want to know, have you watched any Chinese plays, like a lot?
No, not yet.
Really?
No,
like
no.
in Wuzhen Theater Festival, not yet. Don't have a chance yet.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance yet. No.
When will you come here? When?
When I
came here, Wuzhen.
This year?
Yeah.
I got here on the 22.
22.
But on the 23, we're already at the setup of the theater, and I work all day long at the setup. So.
Can you stay a little bit longer and see some of the plays, like later after
Do you have tickets for me?
That's not.
This is a very big deal here, right?
Yeah, and Lu Zhan, you have saw a few shows.
Yeah.
What's your comment? Like international, overseas shows or domestic ones?
I work the OG company from Belgium. The name is Are We Not? What's the name? Are We Not Drawn Onward to New Area? This title, if you read from the first letter, and it's the same if you read from the last letter.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I really like it. Its show is about you will see the actors on the stage and they say some language you cannot understand. And this time I feel nervous. But later I found this nervous is not about I cannot understand the language, because it's also about the question about maybe environment. And then later, after the actors perform on the show, and they use a video, and it's a return, so you can see backwards. You can see, oh, they speak English. And the director is Alexander, and I have ever in his show a smile view and a gamer view. So I think he really cares about the relationship between the audience and the performers. So I think also in this show, this has some reflections in it.
And as a student studying theaters, and you must have saw a lot of shows like from overseas and also from China, domestically ones. Like, what do you think like the main difference between China plays and Western plays?
I think we prefer to take a lot of classic literature on the stage. I think it's okay, but when I see the artwork outdoors, artwork abroad, and I found maybe they prefer to talk about more about contemporary. And I think maybe the Chinese audience, they cannot accept some contemporary thing. I don't know, but I wish to see more things that the director, they can talk about some contemporary and maybe social and the people in classic literature.
What's your take, Jopa?
On what?
Sorry.
On the difference
like the main
between
difference between Eastern and Western plays. And
I haven't seen Chinese shows, so it will be very difficult for me to answer this specific question. But
what's the most popular genres like in Brazil people like to see? The classic ones or creative ones or contemporary ones?
I will answer. Just
Yeah.
I think Brazil has a very diverse theater scene, and this scene, I think, of course, there are more commercial type of things, mainly musicals, like musicals imported from the American and British musicals. This is probably what really are the commercial successful productions. But on the theater scene, on the more artistic theater scene, we do things of many different genres, even in our company. When we came here in 2017, Waterstein, it was an original play, original text, and this time it's an adaptation of Brazil's most famous novel, that is Posthumous Memoirs of Brás Cubas. Our last show before this one was Hamlet. So I think it's very common for Brazilian artists to navigate very different genres, and the audience is very used to that.
That's pretty cool. So this is your third time in China, right?
Yes.
Like 2017 with the work Waterstein.
Yes.
And 2019 Hamlet.
Yes.
So you are familiar with China already. Like, does
Not
this...
enough. I would like to be here many more times and present in many
But
other
it's the first
shows.
time in Wuzhen, right?
Yes.
Before you went to Beijing, Shanghai, those places, those big cities.
Yeah, in 2017 it was in Wuzhen as well, and then in 2019 we have toured Hamlet in Harbin and Shanghai.
Okay, cool. And a lot of people describe this place Utopia. It's the only place in China has like a theater festival. And how do you like Wuzhen? Like an ancient water town must be really different from real.
I like it a lot. It's a beautiful scene. It's a beautiful city. But what is nice to walk in it is that it's not only us that are mesmerized by the city, but all the Chinese tourists are also very, very mesmerized by the charm of the city. So the city is amazing. To be here is kind of surreal sometimes.
Does Wuzhen bring you any ideas or inspirations? I don't know. Yeah.
To swim.
I was born in Zhejiang too. So when I was a young little girl, my hometown is just like this scene.
And also want to know, people are really excited about the return of international plays this time. And as you guys mentioned, all the tickets are out of demand already. And I just want to ask you like a kind of a general question. In your opinion, what role does theater play in global communication? Or I put in another way, does theater need to be global? Like, just want to listen to your opinion on this.
I think that different than other dramatic forms like movies or TV series, when we present a show live in another country, we're not bringing just the story of the show, but also these people, right? So I think that when we are in a festival like this, the possibility to meet people from different parts of the world and to see their shows and also talk about theatre is one of the most enriching experience we can have. I have the impression that one of the cool things of a festival like that is to see very different experiences, right? Very different stories being told. So I think that maybe the more local the theater is, more global it is as well, right? Because there will be more diverse experience to share and maybe more things to discover.
What's your take, Lu Zhan?
Before I come back to Shanghai, I was in Taipei. Maybe people in Taipei and in mainland, we all speak Chinese, but there is still some little tiny difference when people think of one thing. So for me, it's interesting, and I'm also really curious about whether people think about before. Sometimes I think maybe people have the same feeling of one artwork, but after in Taipei and in Shanghai, I feel maybe they still have something. Maybe because of some. Let me think about it, how to describe this. Of course, they live in different education. So for me as a director, I really want to know what people they do different reaction in different places.
Do you want this kind of opportunity to talk to theater artists from Brazil, from UK, from Poland? Do you want this kind of opportunity to communicate with those people pursuing in theater industry?
You mean before or whether I do want to communicate? Yeah. Of course, I really want to do some communicate with them, because
the guys are hard to make a living, so actually they need to.
Because I really want to talk about maybe some story about Chang'e. How to say Chang'e? A female in some Asian stories in China. Fairy tale in China. So I really want to talk about these stories, but I don't know whether maybe Eastern people can understand what I want to express.
Well, I think like in the case of our production, I think it will be one of the most interesting things to discover, because the novel that we adapted, that is one of probably the most important work of Brazilian literature, is a story about a guy in 19th century Brazil, a member of the economical elite of the Brazil when Brazil was still a slave society, and it talks about very Brazilian themes, I guess, and try to speak about problems that are very specific from our society. But maybe that will be the charm of presenting it here, right? And maybe also discovering that there are similarities between the two nations, right? Between the two countries. So I think if you present your
Chang'e.
People will like, maybe they can't understand everything, but the experience could be very, very nice even. So
And you mentioned before, you think there should be more support for youngsters right now, like free festival or other things.
Yeah.
Just what else can give us more, like as an actor and as a director, and also want to directing things. Just what do you guys need the most at this moment?
I just think that the youngsters have a platform to be seen. I think it's a really important thing for us. And maybe the money, maybe the technical, they're not important than be seen. So I just say Wuzhen is a platform. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I remember Stan Lai has said this before. Like even though we have so many specially invited plays, excuse me, but sometimes best works maybe from the really small theater where the emerging theater artist competition are taking place. So you guys definitely are the future. Yeah. Just anything else you want to share with us? Are you nervous about like your premiere the performance tonight?
I am a little nervous, but I think I'm more curious, because the character that I play on the show is a kind of a narrator. Narrator, is this correct?
Narrator.
Yes, it is. And he talks a lot with the audience, and this is what I really want to see how it is. First, that part of the audience will not be looking at me, but at the subtitles. But we are working in all these days really hard for the subtitles to be very good and very comprehensible, and for the humor of the show, the jokes to work. And every time we have presented abroad, we try to approach this subtitle thing that is so important for us to communicate in a way that really works for this specific show. So we position the LED monitor for the audiences in a different way that most people do. So I'm very curious about it. How will this communication that in Brazil I do so directly with the audience, and that sometimes talks about things that Brazilians know so well, how this will work. So I'm not exactly nervous, but very, very curious to see how this will work.
Very curious about the audience reaction.
Yes.
Yeah. As an outsider, I'm not in the theater industry, but I think the most important, the charm of the theater is it's like a one-time show. Like you have to pay attention to every details. I was with you yesterday and see a little bit of your guys' rehearsal, and you just the subtitles, just everything. We cannot imagine. Like when we go to the theater and we see that's a complete show, but we just don't recognize how much efforts have been made to make this like perfect.
Yes.
And I think that's the charm of the show. Like
Yeah.
it's not like a movie. You have a second time rolling one more time. And
Yeah, it's the
people are so close. Like you're an actor, we're gonna
Yes.
see your face. All the expression, people are judging you.
Yeah. Shedding you, I don't know. I'm not thinking about that when I'm on stage. But yeah, this is part of what is so nice about it. Like we are working on the city from the last 3 days, and like the set that we use was built here, and then our team is working on the painting of the set and on the details of the artistic painting of the set. And after all, it's not just to make this happen, it's a combined effort between the Brazilian team and the Chinese team, and I think this is what will be the most rewarding feeling. Like everyone, the volunteers from the festival, the workers, the technicians, and also our team, I think we're all very curious to see how all this hard work will pace at the end, right? Different from a movie that is just ready. Here it's like we have to do a lot of other things again, right? And this is what is so nice and magical about theater, if you like that kind of way of living, right?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Yes.
It happens just in front of you,
Yes.
and you might cry just when you see those plays. There are true feelings. Yeah. And how about Lu? What do you like the most about the theater?
This time in the West Warehouse Theater, it's very close for the performers between the audience. Yeah, so when I was in I was the last
Just in front of the
yeah.
audience?
No, just behind the audience. Behind the audience. But I can hear they laugh, and I feel they cry a lot. And as a director, I feel so. I think this is the charm of the theater, that we breathe the same air, and we are all in this show.
Yeah.
I don't know how it will be this time, but the other 2 times you were in China. First, I thought the Chinese audience is very young at the theater. It's a very female audience as well, right? At least in our experiences, and it was really nice to see how much they connected with the show, right? And this was something that is pretty interesting about the festival. The age of the spectators.
Yeah, I think many people have mentioned this before,
Yes.
like especially foreigners come here. I think youngsters are more easier to accept new things.
Yeah.
And also the tickets are not that have to be affordable. Yeah. What else you guys want to share with us? Do you have a goal for this year's competition?
I don't know, because tonight we'll know who will go into the last. Yeah, just tonight.
Tonight is the
11
result?
o'clock. Yeah.
Like
Not the real result, but tonight we'll get maybe 16 in 18, and we can have our
finals.
finals and yeah.
So I'm not gonna push you. I thought she's getting really nervous.
She's the one
Yeah,
who's
I'm
nervous.
really nervous
yeah.
for this afternoon's show.
Good luck. You will make
Thank
it.
you.
And also, we are really looking forward, and hopefully
Yep.
we can get the tickets. We're still looking for the tickets.
Come on,
for the,
give tickets to them, please. Someone.
I don't have any. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jopa from Brás Cubas, and also Lu Zhan from Emergency Theater Artist Competition, and her work is on her own. We are really looking forward, and thank you so much for you guys coming to join us live tonight. And that's it pretty much for our CGTN roundtable, and see you next time.